So now let's add the optimizer and the loss function to our model. So over here we have model dot compile, and inside model dot compile this basically takes in a JSON object, and a JSON object has a key and value pair. So over here we have a loss and an optimizer.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
So inside the loss we are going to be using a mean squared error. So over here let's first create a new constant and let's call this loss, and this is equal to mean squared error. So let's look up for this particular mean squared error. So over here we have the losses, and we have a lot of different loss values. So we have absolute difference, we have compute weighted loss, we have cosine distance, then we have the hinge loss, then we have Huber loss, log loss, and we have the mean squared error loss. So these things basically tell us the distance which we are from the actual output which we should be generating, and declaring a good loss function is very important in order to make your model work correctly, because by declaring a loss function you basically specify the end goal for your particular model. So over here we have the loss, which is the mean squared error. So now let's basically pass in the value over here. So we have loss, and then we have the optimizer, and inside optimizer let's pass in the value of the optimizer, and with this we have basically added in the data into our model, and this is basically ready to run right now. But before doing that we have to create the initial training data. So now let's do that. So let's add a new constant and let's call this training data, and now training data is equal to tf.tensor. So we have a two-dimensional tensor over here, and now inside this two-dimensional tensor let's first declare our initial array brackets, and now inside the initial array brackets we have further set of a few arrays. So this is our first array, and inside this array we have to basically provide in the input cases. Okay, so currently we are only having two inputs, so the possibilities are 0, 0, and after the first array set put a comma, and then we again have square brackets. So then we have 0, 1, and then we have 1, 0, and then we have 1, 1. Okay, so with this we have basically created the training data, and now let's again create a new variable. So let's call this target data, and this is again equal to tf.tensor2d, and now inside tf.tensor2d we have to again pass a nested list of two-dimensional array. So let's declare the first array brackets, and now inside these we have to basically declare in the output which we are expecting of the code above. So now let's recollect the general rule of thumb of the XOR equation. So if we have odd number of high inputs or odd number of 1 inputs, then the output is 1. Okay, so over here in the first case we have 0, 0, so we have 0 number of ones, which is an even number, so we'll be having 0 over here. Then for the second and the third case we have 1 number of ones, and which is an odd number, so we'll be having 1 in both the cases. And for the fourth case we are basically having 2 number of ones, which is again an even number, so for that we'll be having 0 as the output. and this way over here the training data and the target data will basically act as the input which will then train the model. Okay, so now after that let's create the main for loop which we will be using for the training. So we have for, and now inside for let's basically create a variable. So we have let I, and I is equal to 1. Then we have I is less than. Now let's create a new constant over here, and let's call this constant training steps, and let's initially set training steps to 100 so that we'll have the model iterate 100 number of times in order to achieve a good accuracy or a very small loss value. So we have I is less than training steps, and then we have to specify the increment or the decrement value. So we have plus plus I. And now inside the for loop we have to basically tell in the model to start training. So let's create a new variable, let's call this h, and this is equal to an await keyword. So we have to wait until this particular line of code is executed, and then we have model dot fit, which basically starts the training process. And inside model dot fit we have to pass in 3 arguments. The first one is the training data, and then we have the target data, and then we have a new value over here which is called as epochs. Okay, and epochs basically tells the cycles in which we want to start the training. So over here let's pass in a JSON object, and now inside this particular JSON object let's basically declare the epochs, and the epochs are the number of epochs which we are going to use over here. So let's declare it above here as well, so that later on it is easy to tweak all of these values. So constant num epochs, and this is equal to 30 for now. So inside epochs we have num epochs, and now we have basically given in the equation for the model to start the training. And now after that we have to basically print out the output which is generated by the training of this model. So to do that we have console.log, and inside console.log we have to tell the loss after each and every epoch. So we have loss after epoch. So over here we are telling in the epoch number. So we have plus followed by I, and then let's basically put in a colon over here. Let's add a space on both the sides. Then we have a plus again, and then we have to basically put in the loss value. So we have h, which we have declared over here, dot history dot loss, and loss is basically a multi-dimensional array, and in this case we basically want the first value. So inside of arrays the first value starts at the index of 0 instead of the index of 1. So the fourth value will be at an index of 3 because it is 0, 1, 2, 3. So over here we have a 0, and with this we have basically printed out the value of the loss for each and every epoch. And then we finally want to print the training of the model, and now we want to check it for the corresponding input value. So after the entire training of the model we will be passing in the input value, and we just have to see how the output value looks like. So the ideal output would be 0, 1, 1, 0, but the model will generate something like 0.2 2, 3, or and instead of 1 it will be generating 0.9. Okay, so over here outside of the for loop we have model dot predict, and model dot predict basically takes in the input value. So over here let's pass in the training data, and then let's basically print the output. So we have dot print over here, and now after the for loop and after our asynchronous function, let's simply type in the name of the function to launch the function or launch the program, and the name is start training. So we have start training over here, and this will basically start the start training function. And now after the head tag, let's just complete our HTML. So let's add a body tag over here, and yes, so with this, congratulations, and we have completed the programming part of the project. And now in the next lecture we will be focusing on running this project and then tweaking some variables to see what it and how it affects the accuracy of the entire program.